The boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there's 181 days until Christmas 2024, and I put up a poll in today's live stream. Do you think that after watching this episode, do you think that Soul and Chimere are brothers? Do you think they're related? Or no, not at all? So what do you think? That's the question of the day. You can answer in the poll. I've got to bring back up the studio here so that I can see the results of the poll and take a look at what you are saying. But put it in the chat too. What are your theories? Because there is a line in there where Chimere tells Soul, "You don't remember me, do you?" And Soul says, "There's something familiar with your presence," right? What do you think that's about? Do you think that maybe they're like somebody I saw posted on one of the platforms? Maybe he's his son, like an illegitimate son, like he had a little tryst as part of the Jedi Order, and has a kid, or does it, or what you know, I don't know. What do you think? And we'll investigate. I think that it's an interesting possibility that and you guys may remember this from some time ago. There was a rumor a long time ago, before the Acolyte ever released, right? Before the Acolyte came out, and there were some early leaks and rumors about what this show was going to be about. And remember, there were two girls in a village, and the Jedi came and took one of them as a Jedi, to be trained as a Jedi, and left the other behind. And that the rumor back then was that somebody came and raided the village, killed everybody there, and that the other sister survived, and she blamed the Jedi for her village being destroyed. And so that sort of happened, hasn't it? I mean, not the same. But what if we have that kind of backstory here with Soul and Chimere, where, remember, Soul was taken to the Jedi Order when he was just 4 years old. So maybe his brother was 2 or just barely 3, right? Maybe his brother's just younger than him. His brother remembers his older brother, or maybe his mom told him about his older brother all the time. And he has a memory of his brother, but his brother doesn't have a memory of him. You don't recognize me, do you? He says, but there's something familiar about your essence, right? Or your presence. Oh, what could that be? No, What is that? What is that line all about? You don't remember me. Remembering from where? Was he part of the coven? I mean, those were all women there, right? If those are women, all women, where would Chimere fit in? I also saw somebody speculating that maybe Chimere is Osha and May's father. That doesn't seem to fit for me. Like, how old was he? How old would he have been? I think it's about their age. That doesn't fit for me. So I'm just thinking, I don't think that's it. So, and I see Real Ben, he says, are you sure they don't remember me is not just from the second episode? Well, I mean, maybe, um, that's what he's referring to, but he clearly has his mask off at that point and he can see him. So I would think that wouldn't be it. So very curious, very curious. We've got a lot of folks here in the chat. Gray, hello, Gray. Oh, he's the first Ren. I wouldn't think he would be the first Ren. I think that happened long before this. So if we look at a timeline with the Knights of Ren, for anybody who's catching up, they're like, what does she mean by Ren? That makes no sense. Never heard of a Ren before. Have you heard of Kylo Ren? Kylo Ren from the sequel trilogy was of this group of marauders called Rens. And, you know, Kylo Ren had a red lightsaber. He used the Force. He was powerful in the Force, but he was also being trained by Snoke. And Snoke was being manipulated by Palpatine. So there's a Sith connection through there. Even if Snoke himself didn't consider himself a Sith Lord, or it's unclear if Kylo ever thought himself as a Sith. It doesn't appear to be. He was a Ren of these Knights of Ren, and they were marauders. So they could have been Sith trained, and they did have a tradition of being Force sensitive. Now, there's a lot of things that ties into that too, because there is at the end when we see Chimere go up to Osha, who has been swapped out for May, and Osha's laying there, and Chimere turns her over. You can hear Kylo's theme playing in the background. What's going on with that? What's the connection between Kylo's theme and Chimere? Why? Why would they play that in the background of all things? Kylo Ren hasn't been born, or if you want to take Ben Solo, he won't be born for like 130 years or something like that. It's a long time from now before Kylo's ever born. So why would you play Kylo's theme in the background other than it's a cool theme, we like it? Is there meaning behind it? Also, if you look at and Matt Risman sent me this a long time ago. If you look at their helmets side by side, Kylo Ren's profile, looking to the side, and zipper face helmet looking to the side, or as we call him now, the Stranger, right? The Stranger's helmet looking to the side. They have the same helmet shape. Same helmet shape. Kylo's theme. Maybe. We got some problems with all this, though. I love the theories. I absolutely love the theories. But we've got some big problems with that theory. And one of them is that this whole show, talking to the show creator, the showrunner, Leslie Headland, she said this is about Sith. There's a Sith Lord Master. There's an apprentice. And then the apprentice is searching for an acolyte. Thus the name of Acolyte. So if that's the deal, aggressively relaxing. He'll be Darth Jacksonville, Florida to me until I'm told otherwise. He's Darth Florida Man, because Florida Man, those are great news stories. When you see a story about a Florida man did something, you should go read it. You should go read it because it's going to be entertaining for sure. So Darth Florida Man, I like that. Aggressively relaxing. So there's that. And then there's an interview that I read this morning. Entertainment Weekly did this big reveal. They could finally share some information, and it has a lot of the things that were spoilers in this episode. And in that Entertainment Weekly, they specifically talked about Chimere being a Sith Lord. Are they mutually exclusive? I don't know. I also see this other problem. let me see if I can share this with you all. Let me bring up. I shared this just a minute ago. Let me get into my Acolyte spoilers. And Jason Ward is arguing with me about it, but I'm not so sure. If I went back and I rewatched this episode, and I want to show you guys a series of pictures from the episode with the subtitles turned on. And I want to throw this out there as part of this argument that Gray brought up. Thank you, Gray. Thank you for the assist. This is what I wanted to sort of talk about anyway. So if we look at this, Soul and Chimere have been fighting, right? And Chimere says something about, oh yeah, go ahead and get an unarmed guy, fight an unarmed guy. That's fair. That's what Jedi do. And so Soul turns off his lightsaber and tosses it down, a la Luke Skywalker, right? In Return of the Jedi, right? He tosses it to the side, tosses it down. And then Soul looks up and he asks Chimere, what are you? He doesn't say, who are you? He says, what are you? And there's been a lot of hay about the response that Chimere gives. The question, remember this, and I'm stressing it because I think it's very important. The question is what, right? Chimere answers, I have no name. I'm not affiliated with any group. He says, I have no name. I'm not, but, he says, but the Jedi, like you, might call me Sith. What are you? Sith. But what is he? I have no name, right? I have no name. That's the answer. Oh boy. The answer is, I have no name. This leads into another theory that's out there, and I love this. I love this theory, and I'm with Meg on it. I saw Meg shared something about it on her Discord, and but you know, this whole line here, this is getting a lot of hay because he says the Jedi like you might call me Sith, and Meg got kind of mad about this, and we were chatting about it, and then she included in her video, the Sith would never say, well, I'm a Sith to a Jedi. What if he's not a Sith? What if he is, I have no name? He's not a Sith at all. I have no name. But you might call me a Sith because you Jedi are all about labeling things. You're all about saying who can and who can't do things. Who's allowed to, who's not allowed to. Well, who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? That argument of you Jedi, you like to say, you know, who's who, what's what. You like to label things. Yeah. That's mother. What's her name? The other mother. Always forget her name, and I have to be reminded. And Meg put in here, Coral, Mother Coral. Remember Mother Coral? She was the Zabrak mom. Mother Coral was pretty anti-Jedi. She's like, these people have no purpose here. Kill them. Get rid of them. They got to go. And the Mother Anastasia says, she says, "Oh, you calm down. It ain't so bad, right? Just be peaceful." And Coral's having none of it. None of it. Well, there's another line that happens in here, and let me put this in because Meg shared this, and I gotta put it in here so you all can see this too. Hold on, open. Okay, and you scroll down. We do this. All right, I'm going to share this screen with you as well. All right, so Mother Coral, she's not too fond of the Jedi. Where am I going with this? Well, they have a discussion. Yord, R.I.P. Yord is having a discussion with Osha, and Yord tells Osha, he gets into your head and he stays there. Osha responds back, my mother could do that. Wait a second. He says, I have no name. Right? What are you? I have no name. You probably call me a Sith. He doesn't finish by saying, you're wrong because I'm not. He doesn't say that. But he says, you idiots. And this is another problem Meg has with the show, making the Jedi out to be buffoons. We'll get to that too. But just for now, this is his opinion, right? Chimere's opinion is you Jedi are clueless. You don't know what's going on. Huh. That sounds a lot like the prequel era Jedi to me. Even Yoda says, we've been blinded. We don't, we haven't seen what's plainly in front of our eyes. And you go back to the prequel era and they're flat out told, hey, I think this guy's a Sith. And they're like, no. Oh, Qui-Gon, you're wrong. Get out. Right. And not only that, but then later the Emperor has been right there. You say, oh, but Brian, calm down. Well, the Emperor is one of the strongest Sith masters of all time, if not the strongest Sith Lord of all time. And he is obviously blinding the Jedi. It's not because they're blind. It's because of his power. Okay, I'll give you that. But I'm just throwing it out there. One of the issues with the prequel era Jedi is that they couldn't see the writing on the wall right in front of their eyes. And there's another portion of the prequels where you may remember that in Attack of the Clones that they've captured, they go to confront Dooku. And Dooku captures Obi-Wan. And he's got Obi-Wan spinning on the chain there. And he comes and talks to him. He essentially says, the Emperor Palpatine guy, he's not Emperor at that point. Chancellor Palpatine is the Sith Lord. He basically tells him, and it's not like that plain, but it's close. And they completely miss it. And we have at the time, they were being told who he was. And there's other times where Yoda basically is told who the Sith Lord is, and Yoda just lets it go, right? So we come back to here and we say, Chimere is saying, these Jedi, they don't know anything. You would probably call me a Sith because you guys like to label things like that. But what am I? I have no name. I think there's a clue there. And I know the rest of it, right? I know that it says that this is a Sith Lord. But what if Coral is Chimere's master? She's not been revealed yet. And what if we go back to the scene of the crime? We know there's going to be another flashback scene coming up, right? What if they revisit it like modern day? They go like in this timeline because we know Chimere has Osha. He knows that it's Osha, and he's taking Osha and takes her back to her home to tell her the truth about what the Jedi did. And they go back to the scene of the crime and says, here's what happened. And, and at that point, Coral comes and reveals herself like, I'm your mom. I'm not dead. And Chimere is like my student. He's doing this on our behalf. And what is unclear to me is if Chimere or if Coral is or is not a Sith. We know she was a witch, but we've had a long period of time where maybe she came, out of her anger, vengeance, wanting to seek retribution, she became an apprentice to the Sith Lord. Do we know? The answer is yes. This is an easy quiz, though. Do we know of another witch who had some Jedi powers, who studied as an apprentice to a Sith Lord? Has that ever happened before? Oh, have we seen that ever before? No. Come on, Santa. Oh, well, yeah, we have. Of course we have. Right? So, this would not be unprecedented. It'd be like poetry. It rhymes, right? So what if Coral, after her entire witch coven has been killed, finds the Sith Lord and becomes an apprentice? Star Wars politics. Are you talking about Ventress? Oh, yeah, that's who I'm talking about. That's it. So what if Coral is studying under the Sith Lord, like Ventress studied under a Sith Lord, and she has taken on an apprentice herself, Chimere. Chimere, and this goes back to the question, the poll that I raised at the very beginning. Is Soul or are Soul and Chimere brothers? Yes, no, but they're related differently, or no, they're not related at all. Great question. I don't know the answer. I don't know what I would say right now, and I'm just going to end the poll. If it comes to another poll, I'll put it out there. But if it comes down to it, maybe later I will come up with a better answer. Right now, it says, you seem familiar, or you don't remember me, do you? I'm going to say they're brothers. I'm going to say yes. That's it. I say yes. That's it. Oh no, Baymax, you're stirring the pot. What if Coral is a race gender swap Tenebris? No, they wouldn't do that. Or what if Coral is Plagueis? Better yet, how awesome would it be if Mother Coral comes and says, hi, Osha, my daughter, come give your mom a hug, and says, you shall now call me Darth Plagueis. No. No. That's not going to happen. Right. Because he was on Brindog. Yeah, I think they're going to go back to Brindog. And we're going to see there's a space chase thing going to happen and all of that. Real Ben says, I'm going to act like Darth Foliage from last night if that happens. That's all I got to say. Right. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is what I have so much fun. I just have fun having fun discussions about Star Wars. I don't like all of it, but I enjoy having these discussions. And this is a great speculation. And we've gone on now for like almost a half an hour off of a question or a point that Gray made a long time ago that maybe he's a Ren. I said maybe he's not even a Ren. Maybe he is a Sith, but Coral is his master. He's an apprentice, and Coral is studying under Plagueis or studying under our Biff. Plagueis' master, Tenebris, right? Maybe, but we'll find out. I think that's all set up. I think that it's set up, and he is being trained by Coral. I think that is the case. Whether it is a Sith or not, I have to go with what Leslie Headland says, that it is about the Sith, and that's what it's going to turn out to be. But I have my doubts. I really do, because he was asked straight up, "What are you?" And he says, "I have no name. He's telling him, "You would probably call me a Sith, but I'm not that." But he says it backwards, right? He says, "I have no name, but you'd probably call me a Sith." That's exactly what he says. I think maybe he's not even a Sith. That's what I'm going with. That's where I am. Kev Z, this is hilarious. I am your mother. We are one. We are two. Thus begins the rule of two. Yeah. Right. You have to put that in too. Mike Porter says, "I'm Sith and tired of this." Okay, so we 3 episodes left. One has got to be a flashback episode. All right, so we're going to get into we'll discuss more, but we're going to get into our predictions results, and we'll talk about the episode. We'll break it down a little bit more. But I presented to you a couple of major things to think about. Soul and Chimere being related, maybe. The possibility that Coral is Chimere's master. And are they Sith or not? These are 3 big things that they've kind of set up in this series that we have to wait to find out the answers to. So I'm excited about that. Baymax brings up this 3 episodes. One has to be another flashback. So I saw this yesterday, and it's because Matt Risman posted this little excerpt about who directed episodes. So let's go through this kind of quickly. In fact, I bet you I can open this in the browser so you all can see it too. Just because I've got this set up here. Let's show this back on the screen again. All right, it says Headland directed the premiere episodes 1 and 2, and then it says Kogonada did 3 and 7. Episode 3 was the first flashback episode. Naturally progresses that 7 would be the other flashback episode because it's reusing much of the same footage. So I think episode 7, just based off the directors, and Kogonada did 3 and 7. 7 will be the flashback. So what's 6? We just had 5. What is 6? So keep going. Alex Garcia did 4 and 5. Right? Those fit together day and night. And then we get Culpepper did 6 and 8. So 6 and 8 go together. 7's our next flashback episode. All right. That's what I believe. I think all the evidence supports that. And thank you again to Matt Risman for sharing that. Made it really easy for me to pull up here. All right. So lots of things to think about. Really lots of things to think about. Vanestra Rowe has to show up with her saber whip. So that's going to be in 6 or 8. The question is it going to be on this planet, or is it going to be on the planet that the Witch Coven was on? I think she may show up here to find out where'd everybody go. Something happened. The Jedi are all like dead. Where or they're missing, right? So she's going to show up to investigate. So Vernestra and another Jedi, they're going to be looking into where is everybody? What happened to Kelnaka? What's going on? I think that's going to be 6 and a chase, and we're going to end up back at the Witch Coven, either in 6, probably in 6. We'll probably end up back there because, again, I think it's very likely. This is just Santa's opinion, right? This is my own kind of prediction, or is that Chimere is going to take Osha back to the Coven home, show her the devastation, and show her the real answer, and that's where she'll meet her mom. Right? I think that's what's going to happen. I would predict that's going to be in episode 6, and then 8 will be the whole thing wrapping up, and we'll find out who the real Sith Lord is, who is the master, all of that, who that the mother reports to, right? I hope there was a plan and answer. So much of Star Wars just never explains bad writing, laying out simple timeline. Well, bad writing we can debate, and you could go all the way back to Lucas leaving all kinds of things open as well. And I know that this show has left a lot of people asking a lot of questions, so we'll have to see how many of these are wrapped up. We do have the hope that Headland has said that this season is self-contained, so that by the end of it, it should all be with a nice bow on it. She says she has 2 or 3 other mysteries that she could create in this same series if it gets a 2nd or 3rd season. So at this point, I think that's going to be it. What's going to happen? Let's see. I'm guessing all the Jedi in this show will have to die for it to make sense. Maybe. So it goes back to me saying this question, and I can't leave it alone. I am stuck on this question. I'll just go back to it, right? Where he is asked, "What are you?" And the answer is, "I have no name." That's the answer. And by the way, makingstarwars.net, Jason Ward is live right now. So if you want to hop out of here and go see Jason, you're tired of hearing Santa ramble on about this, go check out Jason Ward there. If you want to stay here, I would love it. I'm having a ton of fun. Not asking you to go. I prefer you stay. I'm just throwing it out there. If you're looking for somebody else to listen to yammer on about this show, you can go catch Jason over there. I am stuck on this. What are you? I have no name. And what if at the end of this, we find out, dude ain't a Jedi, or I mean a Sith. The dude just ain't a Sith at all. That's not what he is. He said, Jedi like you would call me a Sith. What if we find out he's not a Sith at all, and that he is simply studying under that mother, right? That it's Coral. He is studying under Coral and learning all his powers, everything from her. What if it's that? And this mind thing, this statement that he made. And so at the end of the day, we find out that Coral is seeking revenge for what happened to her coven. She's got Chimere out there. So they don't all have to die if we find out he's not a Sith. If we find out he is a Sith, which I think is probably the case, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not being blind here. If he is a Sith, and he probably is, there's still another thing that could come into play, is that without them all dying, is that Vernestra and Soul decide that this whole thing just needs to be put to rest, and hide everything from everybody else. Venestra's doing the investigation. She goes back to the council or the sub-council, whatever this group is they're on, and she tells them it was a witch coven, blah, 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 and that has nothing, that's it. That's the scope of it, the entirety of it. And you got to remember, at this point, the Sith have been extinct for 900 years. And why would anybody outside of that small group automatically pick on a group of folks that existed 900 years ago? And they say, this is just a witch coven seeking revenge for a mistake that happened years ago. Even if she is a Sith, that could still be the cover-up story that Vernestra goes back to the council with, the sub-council. The sub-council reports to the high council. I don't know. It's something like that. So it doesn't have to be that way. If they reveal Coral is a Sith, where is it? Do you think she'll appear with the black and red tattoos like Maul? Oh, no. No, I think she'll be the color she has been. I'm surprised May didn't burn the whole forest down. What? May, this is something else interesting. So I put in the thumbnail, this is about family. And part of it was this question about Soul and Chimere being related. It's interesting what happened at the end of this episode where May took Osha's identity and went back with Soul. I've already seen people complaining, well, how could a Jedi Master not know that that was his student? Well, when May shows up and you see, let me see if I can bring this up. I think let me fast forward here. I'm going to show you this, and I don't want to get copyright struck, so I'll contain this a little bit. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen. This is the show. And so this is May dressed as Osha coming up and says, Soul, are you all right? I'm going to mute it. And then Soul looks up. Now he says, where is she? Now pay attention to his expression. And I think people have been saying that this guy is the highlight, like Soul and Chimere. Those actors are just the top tier acting in the whole show. Watch his face. It says, Soul, are you okay? Where is she? And she says, who? Now look how confused he looks. He's like, wait, you're not Osha? And so he's confused. He's taken back, and he looks at her and says, your sister. He doesn't say May. Where's your sister? It's like, wait, why are you wearing Osha's clothes? So where's your sister? And she says, she's gone. We got to get back to the ship. And she offers her hand to him. And he look at his face still. Look at his face. He's still like, what is going on? And then he reaches up and goes with her. I'm not convinced he doesn't already know that this is May. But we got an interesting situation. It's a sister swap. May is going with Soul, going to step into her shoes. Walk a day in my shoes and you'll understand me better, right? She's going to walk a day in her sister's shoes. Meanwhile, Osha is going to be going with Chimere. She's going to walk a day in her sister's shoes. I think this is going to bring the sisters together where they've each spent a day in each other's lives and have a better perspective of where they have been all this time. And it's not the story that they told themselves, and they're going to have more experience with it. So let me get caught up with some of the chat. I've been seeing your chat rolling by, and I've been yammering. So I haven't been keeping up. Soul, 95% chance he knows it's May. He's read her mind before. He definitely is going to know it's her. Well, and yeah, and we also see at the end where the tracker guy goes in. He's got Pip. And by the way, Nerd Mafia was talking about this. When I saw it, and OSHA says Pip, I went, oh, Pip. Like, she said it. She said his name. We'll get into our predictions here in a minute. But I said no. The droid would be called by name, and she said Pip, and I said, "Oh, Pip." So now it's an expression, right? It's an actual curse. Soul totally knows it's not OSHA. Yeah, I think Chimere knew May swapped with OSHA. Yeah, he definitely did. But I believe he spares her life because OSHA technically saved Chimere's life with Pip, Light, and Moth. Well, that may be a little bit, but also he thinks he could get OSHA to become his acolyte, and that's what he wants. He's going to play along with it and let her think that he's tricked. Yep, that's what I think. Chimere's going to smell this out instantly. Yeah. Star Wars politics. Mike Porter's responded. They have been around for more than 20 years. They play new, but old sound. Oh, okay. He's talking about something that I'm out of the conversation. How does May not know he reads minds? He did it to her already. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't. She already said she was going to give herself up to the Jedi. She was going to go to Kelnaka and say, I quit. Plus, this whole thing where she comes to face with Zipper Face before he takes his helmet off. And she says, oh, I'm so sorry. I was blah, blah, blah. Well, then the sequence after that is him trying to kill her. So she's under no impression that he is her buddy, that she wants to work with him again. And so she's going with, she's pretending to be OSHA, but I don't think it's under any circumstance to maybe kill Soul or anything like that. I think it's another way of her just getting away from Chimere aggressively. I'm just so happy we got to my Mary Kate and Ashley story. Right? It takes two to Parent Trap. Yes. They're going to flip like the moon and the sun. Maybe they're going to flip. I don't think so. I think OSHA has a good heart and she has no desire. And just personally, I never root for the bad guys, ever. I was arguing with Meg a little bit about this. I read the Darth Bane series, and the whole time I'm thinking, who's going to come by and kill this idiot? Right? I didn't like him. Where's the Jedi? Where's the really strong Jedi that's going to come by and like put this guy to the test? Nobody ever does, ever, in that whole trilogy. He just wipes through people left and right. He ends up dying a different way. Right? It's entirely different, but not by Jedi, not by a good guy, by other bad guys. I'm like, this story sucks. Right? I hate it. I hate to see good guys turn evil. Right? I hate it. That's me. I would rather she stays good. I was under the impression Chimere knew right off the bat it's OSHA. Yes, he definitely knows. He definitely knows it is OSHA. Mayo realized OSHA was telling the truth, that Soul saved her life. Yes, OSHA realized May is right about the dark truth of Soul. Turns to the dark side. Maybe she turns to the dark side or not. Maybe she just has empathy with her sister, right? And they're able to come back. She said it twice, Santa. I know. She said Pip. Basil's the name of the dog from The Great Mouse Detective. It's a reference to alias that Sherlock Holmes always used with disguise. Oh, very good, Will Morgan. Getting right into the meta egg of it. Very good. All right. So let's get into the Acolyte is one season show. It is only currently on the schedule as one season. It is open for additional seasons, and Leslie Headland has planned for additional seasons, but Disney, Lucasfilm have not yet approved or decided to greenlight additional seasons, right? Did that lady get a haircut with a lightsaber? She did. Strange coincidence that Lucy McLean's Pip-Boy and OSHA's Pip are both their respective owners' little digital device. Cool. Okay, let me let me get caught up with the chat. All right, I'm going to get into the predictions. So we'll take a look at our predictions together. We'll talk a little bit more about the episode. I'm going to leave these images up here. I'm going to just open this. Share it. Aggressively says, this was my least favorite episode. Been a Star Wars fan for too long to see dudes in the woods with lightsabers and not start laughing. And I hate massacres. How many Jedi did Sidious kill? 4? Well, in his office, he killed 4. I mean, that's how many were there. There were 4 in his office. He killed them all. So there were 10. He had to kill 10, right? So, you know, Ben says, I've seen people criticizing the power level of Manny versus Jackie. You mean May versus Jackie? My thing is, it's more just the villain playing with his food. Oh, you mean Chimere. My thing is, with villain playing with his food versus the power level being equal. Maybe. Oh, how about cortosis, my friends? How about that metal of his helmet? Right? Every time he would headbutt a lightsaber, it had shorted out. Or they would whack his head with a lightsaber, it had shorted out. There's a metal alloy in the Star Wars expanded universe that has this effect on lightsabers. It's in several books, several novels. In fact, it's in the Plagueis novel as well, where they're trying to use their lightsabers and they can't, because every time they go to jab it into the wall to do the, Qui-Gon opening up the wall, they try to do that to get through barriers. And every time they stick the lightsaber in the wall, it just shuts off. Pretty cool. So they brought this in here. His helmet's made of that stuff. And so he can headbutt the lightsaber, turn it off, at least for a couple minutes. Pretty cool. That's a really cool thing that they brought in. That was great. I loved it. I'm going to switch over in the text above. We've had the episode 4 Wall of Fame up here, the whole show. We're going to switch over now to the season leaderboard as we go through the predictions for this episode. And I'm gonna put the chat over here so I can read it. So I'm gonna set this over here, and we're gonna. That runs with fandom says the way the Jedi were confused when the cortosis shorted their sabers out is odd. I'd expect Jedi to know about their weakness. No, it's a very rare metal. It's a very rare alloy. It's not something that's around a lot. Even in like the Plagueis novel, where it's much later, that's 100 years after this, they're a little confused by it at first. They're like, what on the planet is this? Why doesn't my lightsaber work? So Sabersmiths, I don't like seeing the Jedi this way. We'll talk about that too, if you like. So let me bring up the predictions. I want to get this. We're about 50 minutes into our discussion here. We need to get into our predictions. So let me show this on screen and we'll go through here together. So the first question, a Jedi will die, 1 or more. Oh my goodness. So we knew about the red shirts, right? We talked about it yesterday. The red shirts are going to die. Well, guess what else happened? Jecki and Yord. Rip. I mean, RIP. Did not see that coming. And in fact, when he split his lightsaber and pulled off the dagger part and he Swiss cheeses her, right? Shivs her. And yeah, boom, boom, boom. Sticks that through 3 times. I was like, oh my goodness. It just killed Jecki. I was surprised. I did not expect her to die. And then Yord comes and gets his neck snapped. Did not see those two going in this episode. That was a shocker for sure. I did not see that coming. Kay says, I made it in time for results. So a Jedi or 1 or more will die. Well, we knew the red shirts were going to die. And they did. They went out as expected. So 19 instances. We have 19 responses. 100%. Everybody got that point. Visit more than 1 world or planet. Now, yesterday, my predictions, I started with yes, and then I talked myself out of it, and I changed it to no right during the live stream. And so, no, we spent the whole time just on one planet. So we do that. A droid will be referred to by name. This is when curses were heard around the world because in your predictions, you, like Santa, said no. And then 5 minutes into the show, less, 3 minutes, something like that, she says Pip. I went, oh, Pip. Dadgummit. So yes, Santa missed that point. There's one. We had 8 people. 11 of us got it wrong. And so there you go. We'll see more than one lightsaber color. Well, that was a gimme as well, right? We knew that was coming. So that's an easy one. I'll match the entire cell. All right. Now, this next question, we'll see a new Jedi. I was thinking it was possible we would see Vernestra show up with the Jedi that's with her. And I was counting that guy as a new. I said yes, but turns out no. No is the answer here. Everybody we saw, we've seen. So I have to say no there. Someone has killed a non-Jedi. No. We knew the tracker guy was possible that he would die, but no, he's fine. So we did not have a non-Jedi. The other possibility of a non-Jedi dying could have technically been Osha because she's not a Jedi, but she's not dead. So we don't have to argue that. Someone uses Star Wars slang. I went back through and I rewatched this specifically to hear for the slang. No slang. No. So the answer to this is also no. Match that. All right. Most of us said no to that. Then someone will observably use the Force. Well, we expected that too. We saw plenty of uses of that. Chimere did it. We saw Soul do it. There were plenty of those. So yes is the answer there. Match. And then there's a reference to a named Sith. I think if we see this at all, it'll be in episode 8. So I'm going to say no all season until we get to episode 8. So I'll say no here. And now, the interesting thing is, what if the mother is a Sith Lord and a reference to a named Sith, and she has a Sith Lord name? What if she's the new Darth Plagueis? I kid. I tease. Calm down. No, don't do that. Just no. So they're named Sith. We mean like Plagueis, Palpatine, not Palpatine, Tenebrous, right? Bane, possibly. They're like an established Sith name. A species of droid talks another language with subtitles. No is the answer there as well. All right. So there we go. We do that. And we're down now to our fill in the blank. Santa has 8 points plus the 1 for Smilo Ren's identity revealed. That's a 9-pointer. So you had 9 or more to make it onto the wall of fame for this episode. Ben says, don't say it or I'm going to log. I'm not going to log into the internet. Right. It's me teasing. Right. So 9 or more to make it onto the wall of fame. Matt Risman's already on there. And Brett Phillips is already on there. And Brian Stone made it. Star Wars Democracy. KG has already made it. So we had a number of people already without their bonus point. CCG says a Jedi uses their lightsaber. That's a 1-pointer. Yord dies. Nerd Mafia. Almost read that as Nerf Madia, but I almost switched Nerf Madia. No, Nerd Mafia. He said Yord dies. You know what? This shocked the internet, except for Nerd Mafia, because yesterday he said, I'm going to say he dies. He died. He did. Shocked everybody. The whole Yord horde, they're out there grieving today. So 5 points for Nerd Mafia. Mike Yaney, Master Soul, is in the episode. That's a 1-pointer, Mike. Matt Risman, Jackie is seen using 2 lightsabers. This is hilarious because Matt Risman put it in his predictions. And then before the show last night, he was messaging me. He says, Jackie better use both of those sabers. But and she did. So Matt Risman gets his point. Aggressively relaxing. Buryaga gets name dropped. I love the idea. Aggressively relaxing. It didn't happen. Fitz. 1 or more of the Jedi are killed. So Fitz had 9 points going in. He was on the Wall of Fame and he gets a point 10. He picks up a point on Santa. We learned the Sith's identity. Stephen Murphy. Yes. The long-haired nameless Jedi gets the Star Trek red shirt treatment, gets killed first. Well, several of them did. Thank you for the super sticker, Fitz. Kieran, appreciate that. €5 for the super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and I see what you did. Right. He's proud of himself for putting this in as his name. You're naughty, Fitz. In fact, I think you deserve this. Yeah. You go on the naughty list. Yeah. €5 to get on the naughty list because of what you did with your name. There you go. You get that. Brian Kelly, there will be a lightsaber fight. 100%. Baymax says he deserves to lose a half a point. Yes. Yes. I agree with you, Baymax, but I would have going to let him keep it. 1 or more of the white male Jedi gets killed by Smilo Ren. Baymax, yep. Made it onto the onto the Wall of Fame with that chat there, with that guest, Baymax. Dan Untapped. Some of the away party does not come back. Hilarious Star Trek reference. You get the point. Darth Zipper saves Osha's life. Saves it? No. He comes to her while she's laying there in the forest, but he doesn't save her life. So, no. We see Zipper Face's real face. Yes. Brian Stone picks up a point on Santa. Star Wars politics. I predicted this episode we will again see a new creature, animal, beast, or an alien sentient species never seen before in Star Wars. He's been putting this in because he gets 5 points every time it happens. And he's gotten 5 points more than he has not. But Star Wars politics, I don't think. I just go back. We saw the flying critters that carried off Chimere, and I didn't see any other new species or things like that. So I'm just going to say 0. May hides. Osha takes action. Foreshadowed with Mother Anastasia. What do you mean, Dale? Skywalker's Academy? I don't understand. You say May hides. May was hiding in Kelnaka's cave. Osha takes action. So Osha was in action, yeah. And then I don't get this foreshadowed with Mother Anastasia bit. I'm going to give you a point. I'm confused. You have to give me more. No, there were white dude, like just some of the red shirts. We hear Soul say, "What are you?" Star Wars democracy. Yes, you get the point. And I give you 1 point because that was in a trailer. The roly-poly critters interrupt the big fight right after Smilo Ren has his smile removed. Okay, you're being very specific and you're nailing it. It says, but Osha and May are twin-napped, causing Soul to have to chase after them. I'm going to give you 4 out of 5 on the bonus because the twin napping, I mean, sort of, they went with different, they left with a different date than they came with. We'll use that. And Soul's not chasing after them. I think he's going to end up chasing after Chimere and Osha. I think that's happening next episode, maybe. So there's that. Mumbo Jimbo, we find out. Yes. So you made it on the Wall of Fame. There's our Wall of Fame this week. Nerd Mafia made it. Matt Risman, Fitz, Kieran made it onto the Wall of Fame. Brett Phillips, and then Brian Kelly, Baymax, Brian Stone, Star Wars Democracy, KG, and Mumbo Jimbo all made it onto the Wall of Fame. I'll be putting those together to update our season leaderboard above, and I'll be posting those back out onto our Discord later. If you put in the chat !Discord, or if you just look in the description of this video, you will see the link to our Discord. Come join us over there. We have great discussions. So yes, this was a high scoring round. Maybe Darth Coral. Oh, hold on. I got to get this. Just a second. Maybe Darth Coral trains Tenebris, who trains Plagueis. Tenebris could be Coral's replacement for Chimere after Chimere. Oh, I don't mind that. That doesn't make me mad. If we put Coral in as Tenebris's master, that doesn't make me mad. It's a it's a big change to canon, but most of that stuff's legends now anyway, and so we would just be adding a new new branch on the family tree, right? What if Chimere is really one of the witches that used a spell to change her appearance? Well, we sort of had that kind of thing in the Clone Wars animated series where they wore things that changed their appearance and all of that. So let's see. Since Star Wars has short lifespan sentient species, maybe both Plagueis and Tenebris could have lived their lives after the events of the Acolyte. Yes, 100%. I think that's what they were aiming for, is that Tenebris and I keep saying that, Tenebris and Plagueis come after this. And I think at the very end, we may see them introduced in their alternate identities, in their civies. Right? In their civilian identities, we may get them introduced there. Best part about this episode is the fact that it feels like generally people have a good feeling about it. So it's good being excited going into next week versus hoping it's good. Yeah, there is some negativity out there. And my friend Meg, Star Wars Meg, she's not 100% positive on it either. And of course, there's some of the usual suspects are quite negative on it, including Star Wars Theory, right? He did not have a good time with it. And I don't at all attribute bad motives to those people. If you don't like it, you don't like it. And that's fine. Not everything's for everybody. We all have different tastes and preferences, and different things mean different things to more different people. And I've mentioned it repeatedly here. If you know me, you know I don't like the Plagueis novel, and that's me. But many people, I'd say the vast majority of fans who read the expanded universe and who have read some Legends novels, or maybe even most, Nerd Mafia, he's got to go. He got his points. He's out of here. He says, I got my points. I'm running. I got to go. Good to have you here. They love that Plagueis novel. I don't. I hate it. I think it's dumb. So I don't mind at all seeing it retconned. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. But a lot of people, it's hurtful for them to see it retconned. Like the Bane trilogy. I don't like it. A lot of people love it. It'd be a dope way for the show to sign off. The introduction of a Bith, which is Tenebris, right? With a Sith eyes, and then fade to black, roll credits. Yeah. I've even said I wouldn't mind seeing a Bith and a Mun just kind of sitting at a little cafe outside of the bank, having a chat about something to do with, Damask Holdings. Right? So like just some offshoot kind of deep cut thing where you see a Bith and a Mun sitting in a cafe, or maybe they're in the line at the bank to deposit a check. being silly. Having a little discussion. That'd be cool. Baymax, I know he had the Star Wars Santa water bottle that he won from the last from the Bad Batch, and he left it on his airplane. So now he's got to get a new one. So got to get that Star Wars Santa merch. And that's the folks here you see on the season leaderboard. If they make it through the season ahead of me, then I gift you some Star Wars Santa merch, be it a water bottle, a hat, a hoodie, all those things. What about that shill video out there? Yeah. I generally agree with a lot of Meg's views, but I genuinely enjoyed this episode. Yeah. And, to each their own. To each their own. Santa doesn't like olives either. That's true. So terrible. Olives they can ruin a pizza. And don't even get me started on pineapple. Don't even get me started on that. What a aberration to nature to put pineapple on pizza. They just don't belong there, right? If they don't do some sort of hint at either of those Sith, it'd be a big missed opportunity. I agree with you. I would think that they should do some sort of nod to them. And I've got to give credit to Mike Porter. Again, exclamation point chosen pun. You put that in the chat and Streamlabs will tell you who the chosen pun is. Mike Porter. Mike Porter's the chosen pun. He gives us dad jokes, Star Wars dad jokes. And he sent me these dad jokes the other day. He sent 3 of them to me. One for yesterday, one for today, and one for Friday. He didn't see the episode before he sent this. This just shows you how in line, how intuitive, and how brilliant Mike Porter, the chosen pun, shows you how on point he is. He put this. What do you say to celebrate a certain droid? What do you say to celebrate a certain droid? What do you say? Pip, pip, hooray! Oh, pip, pip, hooray. Many of us were cursing when we heard pip, but Mike Porter absolutely nailed it with the pip dad joke right after we got that. We lost a point for it. Right? Gray agrees with me. I love Gray. She's awesome. Gray is awesome. Her kids are fantastic. Olives are the most disgusting. They're disgusting. One of the grossest things ever. I couldn't agree with you more. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I've enjoyed talking this. I'll update the Wall of Fame and the season leaderboard later today, and I'll get those published. Yeah. So when I come to visit Mike Porter, don't order olives and pineapple pizza. No. And could you imagine just how disgusting that would be? Olive stuffed with goat cheese. No thanks. Do you put that out to keep, pirates off your porch? I don't know. What terrible idea. Terrible idea. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. We'll see you Friday to talk about the news of the week. We'll talk about the Star Wars news. There's been some of it today. And you guys, we'll talk to you then when we talk about the news. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I can't wait to talk to you next time. And until then, my friends, Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you all. Bye-bye.